Just shove it straight on top of the wrist and just cram it down onto the bone and use it as a flail to hit. In this video we're going to be talking all about the Black Kubotan Keyring we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to be talking about what it's made from, who uses them, what other types of self-defense weapon we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts, and at the end I'm going to smack Mike with it and show you a few little techniques we have with the Kubotan Keyring. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been doing martial arts for the past 33 years and I've been the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 16 years. If you're liking this video, click the little icon in the bottom right hand corner of the video, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest updates from Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all we can about the Black Kubotan Keyring. Before I start, I'm just going to put in a small disclaimer about the Kubotan Keyrings. So this is sold as a self-defense weapon. Don't go running around smacking people with it, you're just going to get into trouble. If you use something like this offensively, it does become an offensive weapon. So yes, it is just a little stick of metal. Obviously you can buy a stick of metal in many different shops for many different purposes. But if you use this offensively and start smacking people with it, you are going to get in trouble. So just keep it for class, for training with your friends, and you won't get into any problems at all. So this Black Kubotan keychain is made from solid aluminium, so it's really strong. Like, there's no reason you should break this, but if you are smacking it against things and bashing it about, it is going to have dents in it. Aluminium's relatively soft, so it is going to dent, and the black will come off. So if you're using this with your keys on it, then the keys are going to bash the black and you are going to get this really cool kind of like wear. So you get a bit of wear around the top and you get wear from the bottom where your keys are bashing it all the time. And over the years it ends up, I personally think, looking cooler and cooler and cooler. Kubotans sit into a quite grey area when it comes to selling and carrying weapons. So we're allowed to sell them because it is a keyring. Now I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, so if it didn't have a keyring on it, it wouldn't be allowed because then it would just be a weapon. Whereas with the keyring, it's just then you have it on your keys, it's a keyring like anything else, so then they are allowed. So it is slightly grey whether these are allowed or not, but we can currently sell them and whoever buys them is allowed to carry them around with keys on them and they shouldn't get into any problems whatsoever. Now even if you didn't want to use it as a self-defense weapon, I actually really like these just on a set of keys. It's really useful. You have a really nice big kind of handle to hold with your keys. You always know whether they're in your pocket or not because again it's just extra weight on your keys. So yeah, really useful, really good piece of kit just to have as a keyring. Now these don't really fit into any particular style, so it's not like a set weapon for this martial art or that martial art, but the martial arts that you're most likely to learn with these are the self-defense systems. So the stuff like Krav Maga, the fast defense guys, KC fighting methods, even the Sistema guys are going to use something like this, very similar. So they work with defending yourself from everyday items that you can just pick up, so like a pen or whatever. So these fit into that very small stick everyday item that you can learn self-defense techniques with. So yeah, if you're looking for someone to help teach you to train with this, that's the type of class you want to be looking for. So let's have a look at exactly the design of the Kubotan. Now in the old days the ends of Kubotans were always slightly different. So these ones have a very flat end. Now really flat. So in the old days you did used to get a spike on them, or some were really long. Now I've seen American ones that actually have a really sharp point on them, but we, as far as I know, aren't even allowed to sell the really shallow points or the kind of the like dull spike on anymore. It's all not allowed. None of those are allowed anymore, but the ones in the UK with the flat end are the ones that we're allowed to sell. That's what there is nowadays in the UK. So as well as the flat end, Kubotan keyrings also come with these really handy grips all the way down, so really good for gripping. They're not sharp, they're relatively sharp edges, so you actually grip your hand really well on them. Yeah, it doesn't cut your hands, but it's relatively sharp, so you grip this really well. The other good feature is that the keyring on it's actually quite big, so you can get a load of keys on there if you want. Really, really useful. So at Enso Martial Arts, not only do we sell the black Kubotan keychains, we also sell the silver Kubotan keychain, 2 types of Koga, like American self-defense weapons, cold steel training knives, and aluminium training knives, perfect for self-defense and pressure testing classes. So let's just have a quick look at the dimensions of the Kubotan keyring. So the length comes in at 14 centimeters and 5.5 inches. Just looking at the weight, it's just around 65 grams, so pretty light. So as promised at the beginning of the video, I'm just going to show you a few little techniques to get you started with a Kubotan keyring. Mike has kindly volunteered for me to demonstrate a few techniques on it. A lot of Kubotan techniques you see is a lot about having it in the fist. So a lot of people talk about just using general striking stuff, but with the keyring in your hand and just smacking them like you normally would just with a hammer fist or like even a knife hand, but just with the keyring in your hand. So there's loads of places on the body that you can hit that are really going to cause the person problems. So in your temple, in your neck, like right in the shoulder, yeah. Pressure points. So you can have a play around with that with your friends and with training partners, not with some random on the street. But there's a few things that I really like that I think are relatively specific to the Kubotan keyring. The first one is, if Mike grabs me, it's just either you can just shove it straight on top of the wrist and just cram it down onto the bone, or you can flip it over so your hands are crossed underneath and push it down. This is relatively sore. If you get it right on the bone, it can be pretty sore for Mike. Pretty grim. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. The other thing that is relatively specific to Kubotan keyring is if you've got a set of keys on it. Now you can actually hold this with the grips that I talked about earlier and use it as a flail to hit. So obviously don't be running up to people, smacking them. Everyday item being used as a self-defense weapon, which is pretty good fun and pretty useful. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope you learned loads about the Kubotan that we have for sale at Enso. If you enjoyed this video, click the little icon in the bottom right hand corner of the video. Subscribe to his channel and get all the latest updates from Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much and I'll see you soon. Cheers!